Hi there, I'm Sumita Karir. On the show today, we have two very important people from the tech industry. Now, they have created a product which is one of the coolest social media apps out there. I'm talking of Clubhouse, the app that's been a rage ever since its launch during the pandemic. First, for being an exclusive app, and then for giving the oldest medium voice a completely new twist. But will Clubhouse ever go the video way? What's in store for users? What does the next phase of growth look like? To answer all of those questions, I'm now joined by none other than the founder and CEO of Clubhouse, Paul Davidson, and Aarti Ramamurthy, the head of international at Clubhouse. So let me come to you first, Paul. Now, Clubhouse earlier was an invite-only app. It had that tag of exclusivity when it was launched, but now anybody and everybody can participate. So how has that Clubhouse experience really changed?
We actually started working on Clubhouse in late 2019. My co-founder Rohan and I have known each other for 10 years, and we always thought it would be fun to build something together. And we connected, and the first thing we actually said to each other is, what should we build? Obviously not another social product, because we worked on social apps for 10 years. They're very unpredictable. And so we hadn't planned on working on an audio product. If you look at it objectively, it's growing very quickly because of things like AirPods and smart speakers and text-to-speech technology. But we just love that it's such a human medium. And so when we started in 2019, we really just wanted to create a first-class experience that made it easier to create the content, easier to find great conversations, easier to get distribution, to get feedback, to monetize. And that was really the genesis behind Clubhouse. The idea of the invite method, it wasn't because we wanted to create something exclusive. We've actually never wanted to create something exclusive. It was because the company was just two of us. And I think that when you build online communities, you want to scale them in a measured way. As to your last question, how has it changed the experience since we opened it up to everyone? It's made it dramatically better. It's increased the diversity. It's increased the global nature of it, the number of topics, the number of languages. Of course, you have to think about how you scale intimacy.
Aarti, I'll get you in for the next question. First of all, congratulations on your appointment as the head of international for Clubhouse. You, of course, come from Facebook with stints at Netflix and Microsoft as well. Now, in this day and age, and you'd be in a better position to answer this question, there's so many things screaming and jostling to get our attention. And it's not just content generated by companies, but also user-generated content as well. So, of course, the noise gets that much more. What are you doing to tackle and arrest that interestingness problem on platforms and, ensure stickiness?
How do we engage users? I think that's really the point of it. I think the beauty of what Clubhouse does is really about being able to have this space and have this conversation and be in a place which makes you feel better, not worse at the end of the conversation, right? It's the form of communication that's been around, since cavemen, and we've just been able to leverage this to a point where people come in, have these great conversations, listen to these great rooms, and we don't expect the dopamine hits that you expect on other social platforms. For us, this is about you want to feel like you learned something, you got educated, or you had fun, you socialized. So that's really our goal. It's really not to compete apples to apples against other platforms as such.
I'd like to talk more about communities and creators, but for now, let me first go to Paul. Now, Paul, would it be wrong to assume that someday Clubhouse might venture into the video space as well, or, gaming on the platform ever? Facebook is getting into it, then there's talk around metaverse, and of course, there's this talk around walled garden. So companies are not just experimenting with one platform, they're getting into multiple platforms to create those walled gardens for consumers?
That's a very interesting question. So we think that audio itself is a very big medium. And we think there's a lot of benefit to focusing on one medium. I mentioned earlier that new platforms tend to emerge pretty infrequently on the internet. And I think what we find is that they tend to emerge when a new medium emerges on the internet. With text, we had Twitter. With photos, we had Instagram. And we think spoken audio is another medium that's growing very quickly right now because of those factors that I mentioned a few minutes ago, AirPods and smart speakers and text-to-speech. And there's something really magical about audio. The other thing that's nice about audio is you can multitask while you're on Clubhouse. So we designed it so that you can use Clubhouse when you're driving, when you're at the gym, when you're folding laundry. I think there's a lot of benefit to focusing in on one medium. Our job isn't necessarily to only do audio art. So no plans to move beyond audio in a very meaningful way in the coming months. But we're always open to evolving the platform as we grow.
Aarti, coming back to you, you mentioned about creators and how one of them, musician Anirudh Deshmukh, is actually featured on Clubhouse's logo. But eventually, community and creator-based platforms are all going to be paying creators. You know, we're already seeing that happen. Now, what is your plan to pay creators? And of course, how are you going to tackle monetization on the platform? Is it going to be more subscription-based, events-based?
When we think about monetization today in the US, we already have tipping, where any listener can tip a creator. We don't take any revenue share or cut from it. There's a small fee for the payment processing. This is something we also want to roll out internationally, and we have to figure out the right model, work with the right companies to be able to enable payments and do it. So tipping, subscriptions. We are looking at ticketing and paid ticketing events on Clubhouse itself. Other things that we are looking at is things like, brands and getting brands to go work with creators. There has already been a lot of organic interest, but we haven't built a product around it. It's also around how does a creator sell what they have? Like if they're writing a book, if they have like music that they want people to listen to. So for that, we recently launched Pinned Links. Within the first month of launch, I think we saw 5.5 million click-throughs into Pinned Links. Creators need to find whatever ways that is meaningful for them to either make income or, sell their books or sell, whatever they have in a way that is like the right kind of model for their audience. So monetization is very much top of our mind. It's something that we're thinking about, especially for markets like India, where a lot of our creators are very active.
So we built a feature called Replays and launched that a couple weeks ago that allows people to listen to rooms in Clubhouse after they've already ended. It allows the creators to download the conversations and they could cross-post them to their podcast, their YouTube channel. And as Aarti mentioned, we're really excited about creating a number of different tools, whether there's subscriptions, paid events, in-room tipping, affiliate links, brand sponsorships.
So that's an interesting takeaway for all you creators out there who might be watching this interview, that Clubhouse will be big on monetization now. But Aarti, you said something about inspirational, and I'd like both of you to take this question. Now, both of you are sitting in the United States, and there was big news around Twitter roping in an India-born and educated Parag Agarwal to be the next global CEO. So naturally, lots being said about the cult of the global Indian CEO. You have Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, Nikesh Arora, and now Aarti, you also are the head of international at Clubhouse. So surely this looks like India's moment in the sun as far as tech is concerned. But I need to know this from you. What really works for Indian executives globally? Aarti, is it the hustle culture? And one advice that you'd like to give to techies back home who want to really chase the big US dream?
I mean, this is something that my husband and I, we both are immigrants from India. We moved here 15 years ago, and we've talked about it a lot. And we know Parag, and it's such a good moment for us because it's somebody who now gets to run this like really big tech company. So I think to what you said, Sumita, I think it's true. Like we are now seeing this like pattern of Indians climbing up the ranks, holding like really senior positions, executive positions. It's really nice to see. It's kind of encouraging because I think it's a very new pattern. It's a new shift. I also think as technologies have matured, as companies have matured, it's also now possible to like hold these roles and grow up in the ranks and be able to do it. So I'm excited to see a lot more of this happening. But I saw the news and, Satya, I used to work at Microsoft before. When that happened, that was again a really proud moment. And Sundar Pichai at Google. So I just think I saw this tweet, I think from Patrick Collison from Stripe on like how Indians are really climbing up the ranks and all of that. It just made me feel really proud.
I think that India has been such an important part of the Clubhouse journey, not just the community that you talked about, but you, Aarti. Rohan, my co-founder, was born and raised in India. Indian entrepreneurs are absolutely fundamental to the growth of the ecosystem. They've done so much for the world, for the tech industry. It's just a continuation of things that I've seen over the past 5 or 10 years, and it's fantastic.
Let's now move on to the regulatory issues that big tech companies are facing all across the world. You're a tech company and we cannot not talk about regulation, juxtaposed with the diversity of India and content moderation. Now, content moderation is a big challenge for all social media companies. How do you tackle the issue of content moderation in an age of misinformation, where there's hate speech as well? It's been a rough ride for even the likes of Facebook and Twitter. There are political rooms too on Clubhouse. And those are the really tricky, rooms, tricky communities to handle. How are you dealing with that issue?
Yeah, so on the regulatory side, we always work to comply with local laws and regulations in the territories where we operate. And I think on the content moderation side, boy, if you're a social platform, you have to prioritize that. If you're building something for everyone, I think you have to recognize that there are bad actors in the world, and you need to build a platform that is durable to that sort of behavior. And there's no one single silver bullet for doing it. It's a combination of many different factors. And the most important thing is that you make it a priority every day. So we think about it along three different dimensions. We think about people, policies, and product. So on the people front, you need to make sure that at your company, you have people who have built speech platforms before, speaking enough different languages that you can deal with any incident reports that come in.
So how do you see this move by the Indian government?
Well, I think that you look around the world, we operate in many different regions, we operate in many different countries, and you're going to have regulatory bodies, you're going to have governments who interpret things in different ways, and we should expect that. And I don't think it's our job to decide what the laws should be. I think it's our job to make sure that we are working closely with regulators, that we respect those guidelines, and we work to comply with any local laws and regulations in the territories where we operate. So that's the approach that we've taken in the past, and that's what we intend to do in the future.
All right. Also, Aarti, would you be able to give us some India-specific numbers vis-a-vis the global markets? Because you remember Clubhouse came into existence when the pandemic was going on during the spring of 2020. But now coming out of the pandemic, what are the daily active user numbers looking like?
Yeah, great question. We don't usually break up numbers specific to markets, specific to countries. We only look at like the global set of users, who's on the platform, that kind of thing. And since the rollout of our Android product in June, we've added well over 10 million users on just Android. And we look at, for us, more than like specific numbers on like people onboarding, using the product, is really about engagement, right? So when you look at people creating rooms, 300,000 rooms per day, and by the end of summer, we're looking at 700,000 rooms per day created as of July or so. So for us, that's from like a room creation standpoint. And then when you look at consumption, or the average daily time listener spends on the platform, that's also gone up from to about 70 plus minutes this summer, from about 60 minutes.
Do you want to talk about the communities, and I'll talk about the future roadmap?
Yeah, that works great. Yeah. So when you look at communities, we look at, especially for India, what I've been blown away is just the diversity of content. And Sumita, you know this, I come from India. And so for me, I haven't been able to go back home in over 2 years. So this is kind of a way for me to like keep in touch and hang out with people who are like from my hometown, have those conversations. So when I look at verticals and just communities that are doing really well, music is obviously up there. There are lots and lots of music rooms, Antakshari rooms, like music game rooms, right? These are like doing really well. I love seeing those. We've seen cricket rooms, for example, IPL and T20 rooms, and that's just been really good. World Cup rooms. And we talk to them a lot. I love seeing their content because I miss cricket and I miss watching cricket with my family. So for me, this is really great. Bollywood rooms, we have, Aniruddha Guha and Janice Sakura, and they do these great rooms called Bollywood Film Club. Inspiration rooms, people inspiring people. Those have been really big.
Can you share some unique strategies as far as the Indian market is concerned?
Yeah, I was going to say this year, it's been quite a ride. When we started the year, our whole company was 8 or 9 people. We've grown since January to around 85 or 90 people. And we've had to scramble to keep up with things, to build out the platform and the infrastructure. We launched on Android. We open it up so that anyone can join without an invite. We localized the app into 25 or 30 new languages. Another thing that we're really excited to launch for them is the next wave of monetization tools. So that's going to be a big focus for us in as we go into the new year.
So Clubhouse has been a rage ever since its launch during the pandemic. Like I said, it's got everybody's attention out there, and everybody is watching with bated breath on what the next phase of audio-based networking is going to be. You have engagement, 700,000 rooms per day. Again, a great statistic to have. You have content localization, monetization, of course, is also there. Fantastic first 2 years, and we'll all be excited to see what's in store for the brand as you move ahead. On that note, thank you, Paul and Aarti, for taking out time and doing this on video, and especially Paul for recording this from your car.
No, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much, Sumita. Thanks for hosting us and having this conversation.